Hi, welcome everyone. Good to see you.
Hi, Fanny. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, hi everyone. Hello.
Hi,
Hi.
everyone.
We are going to
Morning.
wait a couple of minutes more till everyone arrives.
Hello.
Special welcome to our guest speakers, Inez and Vanessa.
Thank
Nice
you for
to
having
see
me.
you.
Thank you so much for the invite. It is a pleasure to be here.
We are already 32 participants. I think that's more than we ever had. So it's very nice to see. Okay, I think that we are going to start because now it's 4 minutes past 10 and we need to keep the schedule. So welcome everyone officially at the fourth Transnational TASK4ISI meeting related to the TASK4ISI European Interact funded project. This is our fourth meeting. We started these meetings last year. And basically, the project is involving many partners in the European field, namely 17 partners, and all of us are enhancing the skills and innovation capacities of underrepresented entrepreneurs. So that's our focus, inclusive and social innovation. And today we are going to focus on finalizing our strategies for sustainability because we would like to stay alive as a network. And that's why we also invited our two guest speakers who also have a European network, which is connected and related to our topic, to see the synergies and how we can strengthen and maintain such a collaboration in the long term. My name is Fanny Csoka, and I would also introduce my colleagues who will be here with me. First of all, let me say that I was managing the project for 1.5 years, and now I will be stepping off because of maternity leave very soon in 2 weeks. And Eva Vörös is taking over from me. So welcome, Eva, to the call and officially in the project as well. There is also here my colleague Laura Toth, who is working both with the pilot project and also as an expert in the transnational network with me for a long time now. There is Csilla Menyhért, who is our admin support. And I hope that also Bea could arrive because she had a very tight schedule, who is our CEO and co-founder at Impact Hub Budapest. And this is the Impact Hub Budapest team for today's meeting. Yeah, we can go on. Thank you. So you can see here our progress, how we started. We had our first meeting last year in Budapest, actually offline, here at Impact Hub, where we kicked off the project and we established the main goals that we will be focusing on. And then in March, we had a first online Transnational TASK4ISI meeting where we shared best practices related to vulnerable people in entrepreneurship. And in the third meeting, in the amazing split in June, we developed our ideas further, and we were already collecting some ideas how to continue this network. So here we are at the fourth step where we are finalizing our strategies for sustainability. And as you can see, we will be continuing our journey in Erfurt in person, where we would focus on the commitment side and the action next steps. We can go on. And now let me also have the pleasure to introduce our moderator for today, who many of you already know because she was moderating already our last two transnational TNISIHUB meetings, who is Évi Varga. You can see that she's also specialized in social enterprises development. So this topic is very close to her. And she will be taking on from now on moderating the meeting. So welcome, Avi, and thank you for accepting to be our moderator again.
Thank you, Fanny, and good morning, everybody. It's so different to see you now online, having met you, most of you in person in Split. Very fond memories of the meetings as well as of the various other, shall I say, networking events, which were great. We'll never forget. Welcome those participants as well who may be first-time guests, perhaps external partners or people interested in inclusive entrepreneurship and how different countries and different organizations tackle that. The first, I guess, maybe little exercise that we would ask you to do is just to get the brain cells going, is to go through the agenda to see what we're going to be doing in the next couple of hours. After a little icebreaker, we are going to go to you, and we're eager to hear about your progress over the last, let's say, 4 months. Everybody will get 3 minutes to talk about key points to see what progress you've made, what challenges and opportunities you see, mostly focusing on your stakeholders locally. Then we will take on the big question, which actually you've been kind of thinking about and discussing online for a while now. What of the strategic priorities that we discussed in Split should we focus on, and in what way? So we will bring you a few little reminders, the statements that we had sent out to you during the summer to consider and vote on. And then afterwards, we'll hear from our two guest speakers. What wisdom have they got to share about how to build and especially sustain a European network? And the two cases you will see are quite different. One is a young network. Vanessa will be talking about that, while the other, Euclid, is a network that's been around for over 15 years. And so I think there's quite a lot of learning there as well. And then we'll break into small groups in breakout sessions to discuss specific questions, and then come back together at the end for wrap up and final conclusions. So on the next slide, we will see a little Mentimeter, a couple of questions in barcode. We wanted to start with a creative bit, which is if you're thinking about this future network identity of ours, what words would you use? What comes to mind? Could you enter that into the space by scanning the barcode? What pops into your mind about this? It doesn't have to be very formal or official. It could be something, fun or symbolic or some sort of metaphor.
Excuse me. Can you put in the chat the link?
Link is in the
Yes.
chat. Great, in case you missed the the QR code. Did I say barcode? I meant to say QR code. Cooperation, exchange seem to be coming up several times. Community. Impact. Is there anything perhaps that you can think of that would differentiate your network from others? Or is that necessary at all? Maybe not. Okay. How about we jump on to the next question now? Everybody can see community cooperation, impact, exchange. And our next question would be, if you think about these words, what symbol would you think of if you were to think of a picture, an image, a symbol? What would that be? And you can enter that in your phones or in your screen. What would be an image or a symbol that would represent this? All right. Lots of you put connections, network, lighthouse, holding hands, sun, flame, circle, anchor, bridge, lighthouse, compass. Super. Are there any more coming in? Because our final question to you would be, of these words and of these symbols, which one do you guys prefer? Everybody can vote on 3 things. So cast 3 votes. And I'm not seeing this, so I'm just asking Laura whether it's pretty obvious how people need to vote and it's in progress, or do they need any instructions?
Can you guys see how you can vote? Because there are now votes coming in.
No, because if I click on the, for example, on Lighthouse, then it opens and all the clustered words come up, and I don't know how to vote on that.
Maybe you need to
on any
click
other.
on it.
Okay, and then I have to select not the, let's say the overall word like Lighthouse, but I have to vote on the individual ones. I thought we vote on the
Yeah, I thought so.
If
Maybe.
we click on them, nothing happens.
Exactly.
Okay, then let's go back. And try to vote now, maybe. %. Because AI grouped the votes for us, but it's the same. Okay, let me try to press.
Oh, something came up there, Laura. Did you see?
Okay. Yeah,
in the group?
let's try now. Can you guys vote now?
Yes, now it's working.
One person voted. 2, 4, 5, 6. So we'll give you 1 more minute and then we move on. Wow, okay, so on the screen, we now see some results as well. And Lighthouse, Holding Hands and Bridge seem to be the most popular choice, which makes sense given that the big words, some of the big words were connection, community, impact, and inclusion. Lighthouse is suggesting that you want to be sort of a beacon to show direction. So that's great. I think this will be really useful going forward when we get to that point, perhaps later this year. Thank you very much for that creative approach. So let's move on to updates now from the consortium partners who had been asked to answer the same question with regards to stakeholders. And I think most of them, or some of them, have sent us a summary slide to explain what's happened since June. So the question we had asked were, who are your new stakeholders? What do they bring to the table? What other stakeholders would you like to involve? And where do you see challenges? So shall we start with Italy? And everybody gets 3 minutes. So Italian participant, please go ahead.
Good morning. Okay, hello everyone. I'm glad to share a brief update on the activity of the TASK4ISI Romagna.
Excuse me, the sound quality is really poor. Can you speak to the microphone or come a bit closer maybe? Thank you.
Okay. Thanks to the strong collaboration with the stakeholders involved in the project, we have recently launched the training program for aspiring entrepreneurs. We identified the first trainers and experts and kicked off the pilot of...
I'm really sorry, but it's still the same. You need to come a lot closer, otherwise it echoes a lot and people can't understand what you're saying. Can you come closer to the machine?
Sorry, but the connection and the microphone not...
It's a phone.
Not...
Okay, well, let's try.
And we identified the first trainers and experts and kicked off the pilot on 60 October with the 26 participants, most of them young people. Very soon we will also start the pilot for a first group of novice entrepreneurs. Both activities have been developed in close cooperation with a wide territorial network of stakeholders, both public and private entities. This network has collaborated both in the co-design of the initiatives and the engagement of participants within the target groups. Stakeholders have contributed expertise, connections, and extensive dissemination of the project's opportunities. A clear best practice has been the collaboration with the University of Bologna, which allowed us to meet many students and recent graduates instead of pursuing self-employment through information points on Cesena campus and dedicated outreach activities. Through dissemination and collection of expression of interest, we have generated entrepreneurial ideas in many different sectors, from digital and technological innovation to food, from healthcare to social and educational services, as well as cultural and musical fields. To support the development of these initiatives and foster networking, it will be necessary to involve new stakeholders connected to the specific sector of the emerging business ideas. A further challenge concerns the engagement of novice entrepreneurs, whose numbers are currently lower. We are working with trade associations, and we also consider involving new partners or capable of supporting this segment. In summary, the collaboration with stakeholders has enabled us to reach a broad and diverse and different group of beneficiaries. And in the coming months, we are eager to open up to new partnerships that can be support both aspiring entrepreneurs and novice entrepreneurs in our region. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. I don't know, I'm hoping other people understood more. I unfortunately missed a lot of your explanation, but perhaps we can get some more in writing.
My microphone don't...
No, I understand. I'm sorry, but thank you very much for trying. So how about we move on to the next partner who will be talking to us about what's happened in Germany.
Yeah, so we have had a few events over the last couple months. We have pictures from 2 of them there. Our third TASK4ISI meeting in July is the top one, and the bottom one is the social hackathon that we just hosted 2 weekends ago. So that was kind of our big kickoff, and we are looking at then starting the actual workshops and everything for our program with that group very soon. We've worked with a lot of new stakeholders over the last few months as well. The Melton Foundation is a foundation that works with young people who also have socially innovative ideas locally and around the globe, and they hosted our third TNISIHUB meeting with us, which was really great because we got a lot of new stakeholders through them as well. And then for the social hackathon, we also worked with a few new stakeholders who talked to the participants, gave some inputs on the context of the labor market in our region. And we're looking to have some more events with the new stakeholders we've worked with over the next few months as well. We've also come in contact with quite a few people who are likely going to be giving some of our workshops for our program. So it's really great. We're kind of finalizing who's giving what workshop and finalizing our plans for the next few months with all the new stakeholders we've worked with. Yeah, and then some of the challenges we've encountered, finding schedules that work with all the participants. We're hoping that we can be a little bit flexible in our programming so that people who work jobs where they might have shifts in evenings and weekends can still somehow participate in our programs. So finding a common schedule for all the people that have said they want to participate in our program has been kind of a challenge. And working with some more established institutions can sometimes be difficult because there's a lot of bureaucracy involved there. But we've made some headway with the new stakeholders we've worked with and are looking forward to starting our workshops very soon.
Super, thank you very much for the concise summary. Did you actually say what STIFT is, the potential stakeholder?
Yes.
I missed that.
Sorry, I guess I thought I put that in, but maybe it just didn't save at the last minute. They work also with our established partners' techs and kind of are able to provide a little bit more context on funding opportunities for social enterprises and startups in our region. So we're looking at having them as a potential trainer. I'm hoping to have a meeting with them soon.
Great, thank you. That's a great example of how you're looking at the different perspectives and aspects of support that need to be brought to the table. Super. Next, summary from Croatia. The floor is yours.
Vesna, are you there? Are you going to do the presentation?
Okay. Well, we have prepared our programs and got the offers for them. So yesterday we had some initial talks with the trainers, and we are actually ready to start. But we are waiting for them to tell us how, the exact date they can start. We have planned a trainer for youth and a trainer for specialized in women entrepreneurship. So we are actually waiting for them to give us the exact date of start, and then we have already prepared the text for the open call for interested participants, and we'll publish the call, collect the applications, and then start with the program. We would like to include also other Split TNISIHUB members to join with their ideas to contribute to the planned project activities, and actually to the very programs, business skills and the business matchmaking programs, with their further suggestions and ideas. We would like to include, if possible, because we didn't have any response from their side yet, one or two, if possible, education institutions. We addressed Split Faculty of Economy and some schools, but until now they didn't respond, so maybe we will be able to include them now in our pilots. Actually, we are planning to give them opportunity to be part of the pilots, and we plan our next TNISIHUB meeting at the very beginning, before the very start of the trainings.
Can I just say 2 words on behalf of ERA, if possible? I would just like to say that at the moment we are very happy with our stakeholders, and several of them are today with us on this meeting. So I would also like to use this opportunity to help them. We have, for example, we have strong connections with policymakers and those who can actually make the impact in our region. And that is mainly our founder, Split Dalmatia County, and the local development agency, RAST. So we are counting on them a lot, and they are really providing a good feedback to us. We are also talking about the future of the TNISIHUB with them. So our plan in future is mainly to involve more of the users, people also with a disability, startups, and to actually hear from them what they need and tailor our work according to them. And as Vesna said, our next TNISIHUB meeting will be just upon the pilot start, which will be somewhat at the end of October, and we still have to release the calls for the potential participants. Thank you.
Super. Thanks a lot for that addition, Anna, and thank you, Vesna. Let's move on to Poland. 3-minute summary, please.
Yes, it's me. Hello.
Hello, Jacek.
Hello, hi. So can you hear me, yeah? Okay. So since the June, we have implemented a number of activities in our region. One national meeting of TASK4ISI Polska took place online on 12th June. The meeting was attended by 19 stakeholders who have been cooperating with us for a long time. We were focused more on strengthening the cooperation rather than acquiring a new stakeholders, but it was before we have choose the target groups. So now the situation is a little bit different. But however, the greatest achievement was selecting a company that would provide project training. So 2 competitions of offers were conducted for that. The first competition was unsuccessful because of the budget overruns, while in the second competition, a techno consulting company, which is one of our stakeholders, was selected as the training company. And the contract for training was signed in September 2025. The company presented very interesting and favorable training model based on the project's requirements. The program is based on a practical and flexible approach tailored for the needs of disadvantaged groups, which are migrants and seniors in our case. And the training combines group of workshops called boot camps, individual support like mentoring and coaching, and both in online and offline version. And the first part of training, which is a business skills development program, will consist of those boot camps, individual consultations with online and on-site training for target groups. And the planned implementation is November, December 2025, but actually we have the first date of training, which is in 15 November. And what is quite good for us, all of the trainings will take place in our socio-economic innovation cluster at the place of the municipality of Kraków. And the second part of training, which is a business matchmaking program, will be made up of group workshops, individual consultations, training for both target groups. And the planned implementation is January, February 2026. And I would like to say something about the next steps and challenges. So first of all, the biggest challenge for us will be trying to attract more stakeholders related with seniors. This will make it easier for us to access to more participants in training courses intended for seniors, because seniors really want to be active, but they are not really active, for example, in social media. So we have to find stakeholders which are going to give us the contact for them. So we are planning to contact the University of Third Age and the Senior Activation Center in Kraków. But anyway, we've got another goal in the future. So the winning training company will handle the recruitment process itself, but we want to assist with the recruitment process, and our assistance will be based on promotion of the event and as well the generating the contacts from stakeholders. And for now, that's all for our situation in Poland. Yeah.
Super. Thank you very much, Jacek. And last but not least, let's hear from the Hungarian partner.
Yes, can you hear me? Yes, okay. Hello, first of all, I would like to present myself. My name is Diana Nagy. I'm substituting my colleague today, Gergely Fribék, who is now on a business trip. So I'm going to share everything he shared with me, the updates. So first of all, I would like to start with the pilots. We piloted with 2 target groups, and we will do soon the other 2. We can safely say that the pilot round with the female and the ADHD entrepreneurs went quite well. And there will be another round with the ADHD round due to the huge amount of interest. Regarding the meeting that we're going to have next week, the 16th of October, our agenda, let's say, is that the curriculum development partners are going to present the final curriculum, which will be discussed, and we're going to get feedbacks on them from the stakeholders. Furthermore, on the 16th, we would like to talk about the next pilots as well as some additional tasks in the project that also affect the stakeholders. We would like to reach new entrepreneurs that are part of our target groups, specifically entrepreneurs with autism, spectrum disorders, and young entrepreneurs. Regarding how we found the stakeholders and the target groups, basically, it is thanks to the professional network of the curricle development organization. So that's how we could reach out to them. But as I said, we're still planning to broaden the target group. Yes, I think that would be all from our side. Thank you.
Thank you. We're running late, but I wanted to ask if there's any kind of question that is not going to let you sleep at night that you really want to ask right now about any of these summaries.
No, from my side, if you're asking me.
No, I'm asking everyone actually, having listened to the 5 summaries. If you remember any questions later, obviously you can either contact us or contact each other directly. I think there have been some very interesting new ideas and developments here, so it's good to have these updates. Now, we're running late, but let's move on to the next section of our agenda, which was about, okay, where is this network going? What paths strategically would you guys like to take? So I'm going to pass the mic on to Bedu, the CEO of Impact Hub Budapest, who will read out these statements as a reminder to you. We had circulated these during the summer, and so you had the time to contemplate and think about and vote on. Bea, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Eva, and welcome everyone. And I hope that you can hear me well as well. Just as Eva said, we've asked you and all the consortium members answered these statements. And now I would like to share quickly about these, but trying to really highlight you that what even in the Menti, in the comments that you made at the very beginning when we said, and I just grabbed one word out, which is like a lighthouse. That remained to me. So we really would like to pass on all our vision and mission alignment, which is the transnational TASK4ISI network. How could we remain active beyond the project? How can we empower and strengthen all these transnational cooperation? And that's what Impact Hub as a transnational organization among 127 cities, we have the experience. How can we come and get closer and collaborate, collaborate and support the inclusive entrepreneurship? Now, everyone agreed on our vision and mission alignments, and as well as that we need to share all our tools as well as events to know about, to join, and the peer learning contributing to a sustainable engagement, and not at, and this is the main thing, is transnational TASK4ISI is not just national level, but regional and EU level. If we can pass on to the second statement, it needs shared commitment, definitely. So as you could see, all the experiences of the different TASK4ISI hubs, there should be a memorandum of sustainable cooperation to be developed and signed by, and not only the consortium members, but also the stakeholders that you involve. So all the interested partners defining the basic roles, engagement, expectations. So, and that could be like yearly contributions, and that could support as well the principles of the inclusive collaborations. And you could see from the answers that 70%, so the majority agreed, and only like 10% was neutral. And even when there were special another 10% who said that the engagement could also mean organizing online get-togethers every half a year, so even frequently announcing ideas, getting feedback. So sort of how we can make these shared commitment. And then the network presents, which is on statement 3, that how can we continue? What are the solutions? I myself have a very good, we have a social, there was a social innovation academy project, an Erasmus KA2 project with different consortium members in 2018 and 19. And I have a very good experience of a LinkedIn group, but it means that also on a rotation, the actual roles, responsibilities should be shared within the group, and that's how we could guarantee the activity and the vibrant network to be an accurate on time. So if we go down to statement, if we have the network presence, we have the shared commitment, then go down to statement 4, which was what is the minimum activity standards that we use. And also we had the majority agreeing us that each country should commit and contribute to this. And it's a win-win situation, I would say, that if the TASK4ISI are really active and contributing to the transnational TASK4ISI, then it's a win-win situation for everyone, and it ensures the continued relevance and interaction. There are really good points of how we could keep the engagement and the feasibility of the project. And statement number 5 is the next one, which is the transparent collaboration and growth. Which means that future calls, funding opportunities, or pilot initiatives should be announced and coordinated through TNISIHUB's LinkedIn group with transparent criteria for involvement and leadership. So these were the 5 statements. And if we go on to the next level, is that really like additional suggestions that we are really looking for, and how to establish the working group, who the representatives, the individual partners. This is really how, and you could see like 3 suggestions, but we are collecting more. How to do like a book club, or an early career researchers can have a space there too, or even policy dialogues with mayors. So this is what I just wanted to share quickly, but we have the presentation, and if you have any questions, we can have it and answer it later, or in the chat, then we are answering you. So please go through the statement if this is the first time that you have just heard about, but really together we can make a strong community and for the future as well. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for the, can we go back one slide? Thank you for the summary, very concise, and also bringing it all together. I would like to ask you guys to keep these in mind, because in the breakout sessions, this is what we're going to be building on. So this is, in a way, we take it as agreed. Not necessarily, I don't want to say it's not up for discussion, but I think we're kind of following a nice progression of ideas turning into commitment, more kind of strategies and commitments. So if you have any questions or comments regarding any of this now, then I think we can devote a minute or two to that. So please feel free to either put your hand up or write something in the chat. Let's see. This is also just to check whether everyone is awake. No. Okay. So either everyone agrees that these are things that we had agreed, or they are eager to hear our guest speakers, which is on the next item on the agenda. Okay, super. So let's see how other people are doing this. And so we will hear first from the Communications and Member Engagement Senior Officer of Euclid Network, first from Ines Maceira. Please, Ines, correct me if I'm not pronouncing your name right.
For sure.
And so I'm not going to introduce Ines, even though I've known her for a number of years, but let her do that and introduce Euclid Network and answer maybe some of the questions that we had asked her about what are the secrets of keeping a network alive. Ines, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Eva. I've just shared my presentation. Is everyone seeing it? Perfect, great. Thank you so much for your presentation, Eva. Indeed, I'm Ines Maceira. I'm the Communication Member Engagement Senior Officer at Euclid. It's a pleasure to be speaking to all of you today, and I'll be telling you about Euclid Network, the work that we do, how we collaborate with members, and the lessons that we've learned with this collaboration about sustainability. So what is Euclid? We are an umbrella organization for social enterprise support organizations in Europe and neighboring countries. We support and represent social enterprises, social innovators, and impact-driven leaders for almost 20 years now. We first started in 2007 in the UK, and now we are based in The Hague in the Netherlands. So we are a membership organization. We have 54 members that are recognized trailblazers and frontrunners in social enterprise, social innovation, social finance, and in building supportive ecosystems and markets. They are international and national leading social enterprise networks, alliances and support organizations, social innovation centers, universities, research centers, knowledge platforms, incubators and accelerators, and social funds. They're based in 31 countries and active in over 77 countries. They represent around 120,000 social economy organizations, and they support also around 25 million individuals annually. So we do get to a lot of people. And what is our purpose as an organization? Our purpose is to catalyze transformation towards an inclusive, equitable, and sustainable economy for people and planet. And we do this by connecting and empowering stakeholders in a trusted community of the social entrepreneurship movement that co-creates a regenerative future for Europe and beyond together. We want to mainstream social entrepreneurship and social innovation in Europe and beyond to realize an inclusive, equitable, and sustainable economy for people and planet. Some of our core values is that we are community-centered, value-driven, mission-driven, European-focused with a global agenda, and we believe in transformational leadership. We are part of multiple projects. Our main grant is the European Social Fund. This allows us to do a lot of things, for example, as our summit, run our AGM, and help us a lot with member supports. And some of the largest projects that we do within our organization, and you might have heard of, is, for example, the European Social Enterprise Monitor that brings together 31 countries and over 50 partners. So biannually, we create this report that's through the survey that we lead, gives us an overview of what's happening across Europe in social entrepreneurship and also at the national level with our partners, also part of the Bisocial Europe, which brings together, once again, 17 markets and 24 partners. These are some of our members in 2025. You might recognize some organizations there. And what are our members doing? Here you have a map overview of where our members are based or the regions that they work with. And they are there building ecosystems and developing and enabling conditions for social enterprise, social innovators to thrive and or removing barriers. They're sustainable and impact focused. They're diverse, inclusive, and participatory. And they're seeking to scale by partnering with other organizations. And indeed, this is a very diverse group of people. How do we share knowledge? How do we keep connected? And we do that by using digital platforms and newsletters. These include our website, social media, our knowledge center. And we want to make sure that these platforms also belong to our members to share their projects and give them visibility. We also work with thematic working groups based on the needs of our members. So for example, we have one on policy, also on research, access to funding, and then we work with our members to address their needs and concerns. We also believe in peer-to-peer learning. This is one of my favorite things with Euclid Network. We have the PeerX exchange program, which is sort of and many other exchange programs that you can think of. We connect our members based on their needs, what they want to learn, or for example, if they want to learn with an organization that has a higher level of maturity, and then we finance and help them coordinate an exchange where they, for example, travel to each other's ecosystem and they can learn from each other. We also host webinars and events. So we host a lot of online webinars, and biannually we have the Euclid Network Impact Summit that should be happening next year in March 2026. And how to engage with members. I think as a membership organization, this is some of the most important part of the work that we do. And within that, I would say that recognition and visibility is also one of the most important ones. As I mentioned before, through our social media, newsletter, website, knowledge center, we want these spaces to also belong to our members. So they always have the possibility to share their achievements, what they've been working on with us. We have a specific member exclusive newsletter, and there's always a button in the end that our members can click on and then share with us everything that they've been working on. And as an organization, we really want to celebrate our members and their achievements. Also, active participation is something that we want to make sure our members feel they're part of the organization by participating. And I'm going to already connecting it with the tailored support. So biannually, sometimes not biannually, because we're trying not to also overwhelm our members with surveys, which we are famously not good at. We have this membership survey where our members tell us what are their biggest difficulties or areas that they want to improve in. And based on that information, we've created our Driving Positive Change series, where we give webinars based on that knowledge and areas that our members want to improve or feel more difficulties in. And these are sessions that are also driven by our members. So we invite our members to participate and share their knowledge. So our members that maybe have more knowledge when it comes to communication and engagement are giving then this session to the other members that have this as an area that they would like to improve as an organization. And talking about tailored support, I think also one of the most important things within our membership is access to funding. So we help our members coordinate, and we provide them with guidance when it comes to access to funding. I think last week or 2 weeks ago now, we had a wonderful moment. Doesn't always happen, but we had a member reaching out to us saying that they were experiencing some financial difficulties, and we had a project that we were hoping to hire an external trainer, and there was quite a big budget for that. And then I was immediately able to, there you go, here is this opportunity. And that's always wonderful when that happens. And then also regular communication. We have this spreadsheet where we note down every single member interaction. So we try to keep track on not communicating too much, because resources are limited within this ecosystem. So we also don't want to overwhelm our members, but also we don't want them to feel forgotten or not loved. So we try to keep this balance. And this was the way that we thought to do it. And then how do we remain sustainable for almost 20 years now? Diversified funding is very important. We receive EU funding, private funding, also from our membership. And this allows us in this circle of connected sustainability to keep true to our shared values and purpose. Often funding can lead, having very limited funding or one source of funding can lead to a change of values and purpose as you are chasing that funding. And having a diversified funding help us stay on track to what we want to achieve as an organization. Also, strong governance, so clear roles and responsibilities, so that everyone feels responsible for their projects and what they're working on, and there's not, for example, double work. With shared values and purposes, it's also something that brings us closer to our members, because, for example, in times of financial instability, having these shared values and these shared goals and this sense of belonging can very much help us stay together through the more rough moments. And then, of course, continuous learning. We have been here for almost 20 years and we don't want to settle in our ways. We want to keep active listening to our members' needs, what they want from us, and how we can better support them and make sure that being part of Euclid Network is an advantage to these organizations and to social economy as a whole. This was it from me. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm not sure, because I know we're a little bit short on time. I don't know if there's any moment for questions, comments, but I'm here for that.
Super. Thank you very much for a really nice roundup of Euclid Network as a network. And of course, this was a presentation we heard from a structured, an organization, right, network. So we can keep that in mind. And yes, we will provide some time or offer some time for questions. But we thought we would first then listen to the other presenter, Vanessa, who is going to talk about a younger network and perhaps highlight some of their learnings. And then we'll have a few minutes for questions to both of you guys, if you agree. So Vanessa, please go ahead. Is Vanessa here? There she is. Okay, super. We can't hear you at the moment, just yet. No. No.
It is muted, probably.
No. Okay. While Vanessa's getting ready, is there anybody that wanted to ask a question after Ines's presentation? Any questions to Ines for now?
Yeah, I would like to ask something.
Go ahead, Anna.
I would like to ask how, in what way you are attracting the private funding? Like, who are your contributors and donators, and how do you reach out to them?
This is unfortunately is not my area of expertise. I would love to have our CEO Vitika here. She's the one that indeed reaches out to the private funding and has the good connections with them. We have received private funding, for example, from Google, from SAP, from Bertelsmann. I will get back to you on how we reach out to them and actually talk to them, but this is unfortunately not my area, and our CEO can better answer that question. I'm sorry, not very helpful for me.
Thank you very much, Ines.
I may be able to jump in here for half a second.
Oh, yes.
Because I used to sit on the Euclid board for 9 years, so I know a little bit about this. These would be some corporate foundations or corporations that Euclid Network has reached out to, typically because they're interested in the development of social entrepreneurship and looking at part of that is actually the marginalized or underserved communities or target groups very similar to the ones that you guys are working with. Disabled people, interest in youth, interest in migrants and refugees, interest in women. So I think it's the it's this interest that brought the actors together to see, okay, what can be done. And I think one of the attractive factors of Euclid Network, and that would be true to you guys as well, is the across the border sort of regional European coverage, which I think many larger European stakeholders found interesting.
Indeed.
Vanessa, are you, sorry.
Yep, one more test. Can I turn you
Super, we can hear you now.
Okay, I went through all my microphones to see which one works. Thank you for your patience. And I see Andreas is someone that has a question, but if you want, I can...
No, just to add about the Euclid Network, because we are also members of Euclid Network as Academy of Entrepreneurship, is an excellent idea that we use the end of the European project as exploitation and valorization to attract private funding from companies through the CSR, because we continue from the pilot of EU projects to support specific beneficiaries like women, social entrepreneurs, vulnerable groups, and so on.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you, Andreas.
Super, thank you.
Yeah. I'll start. Okay. So I hope you can see. Great. Let me just quickly. Right. I'm here to tell you a little bit about the Inclusive Entrepreneurship Alliance. That is indeed a very new organization, not even at the stage of being an organization. That's how new we are. We started last year in 2024. But maybe before I tell you more about the Alliance, a little bit more about Unity, the organization I work for directly. We are based in Brussels, so at the heart of the European Union, very close to the European Parliament, the European Commission. We work especially with migrant entrepreneurs and business professionals that have a cross-cultural background, highlighting the value of migrant entrepreneurship, but also the value of this innovation and the perspectives that migrants bring to Europe. We also do advocacy projects, and we also provide business support through our members in the different European countries. And last year, around the European Parliament elections, we noticed that there was not a lot of space yet. I mean, we noticed this already before the elections, but we thought that the elections could be a very good moment to raise more awareness around the topic of inclusive entrepreneurship. And even though our focus in the past has been mostly on migrant entrepreneurship, that's the target group we work with, we realized that there are a lot of other organizations, and this meeting today also shows it very well, how many different organizations work on the topic of entrepreneurship from different angles, and also working with different communities that are underrepresented. So we started talking to different organizations if they would be interested in joining our campaign. And we realized, first of all, there is a lot of interest, but also that if we only talk about migrant entrepreneurship, we are missing out on some of the other organizations, and we could equally benefit from connecting forces, not disregarding, of course, their efforts with a certain group, because I also think it's important to highlight that each target group, whether it's migrant women, whether it's people with disabilities, there are unique challenges and intersectional challenges, but it does make sense to us to work together. So we started off with advocacy. The idea was at that point to form an intergroup in the European Parliament, which would have brought together members of the European Parliament to work together on the topic of inclusive entrepreneurship. That didn't work out because it's a very tough competition to form an intergroup. But after this exercise around the European elections, we had around 50 organizations in this campaign. So we thought, we're not going to let this effort go to waste. Let's continue the collaboration, a bit like what you're doing now in a very different format, of course, but how can we continue the collaboration and do more, and also in a more sustainable manner? So we started off by launching the Alliance in December 2024. And until this point, what we do mostly is, apart from expanding the network, understanding what the needs are and communicating between each other, we also want to make it a more horizontal effort. So while Unity has initiated this campaign, there's a lot of drivers in this alliance that are supporting the efforts and that are kind of leading the network with us. So that's, I would say, one of the first challenges. and aims is how to make this network led. I think someone before mentioned, how do you keep it going in a kind of rotating way, for example? So that was equally a thought process we went through. We've done a couple of webinars this year on different topics. One on generally inclusive entrepreneurship. One was more on the belonging of migrant entrepreneurs and connectedness. So more of a sort of also emotional approach. And the other topic we worked on was peacekeeping and entrepreneurship. So we have different topics, and I'm sure there'll be more to come. Just to give you an idea of where our members are based, you can definitely see a concentration in some countries. The reason for that is sometimes the way we've reached out to new organizations is through this kind of word by word, I don't know how you would call it, trickle down effect, where you know one organization and they recommend others and you get in touch. So our goal was to have a representation or an organization in each country, but also to go beyond the EU. So to also have members in neighboring countries, neighboring regions. So that's an ongoing effort to also see which organizations could benefit from this network at a European level. And to give you a couple of examples of the organizations that are in this alliance, I'm only naming a few, and especially those that were sort of part of the efforts at the beginning. We have AKEP, who's also here on the call, Andreas, the Academy of Entrepreneurship in Greece, focusing on entrepreneurial skills and inclusion. There's IDA, an organization in Germany that connects and empowers Black entrepreneurs. There's also some universities and researchers in the alliance. They make up quite actually a large section of the members. So we have in the UK a research center focusing on ethnic minority entrepreneurship. We have an NGO in France, for example, that supports newcomers and migrants through entrepreneurship, but also art, participation, leadership programs. And we have a Belgian organization which supports women through entrepreneurship, and especially women with diverse cultural roots. And just so you know more or less where these organizations currently are, in which fields they're active, because we've opened the alliance to all. We don't want to exclude anyone. Everyone that feels that they can benefit from this, a network that feels they need a more European transnational space to discuss and advance inclusive entrepreneurship is welcome, including individuals. So sometimes the organization doesn't join, but an individual researcher might join, and very fruitful collaborations come out of this. So we have some migrant refugee focused NGOs, we have entrepreneurship startup hubs, we have a large chunk that is universities and research institutes, women and youth empowerment focused NGOs, and some pan-European networks, but they're currently the minority, but they're also very strong voices and help connecting the elements. And as a last kind of slide, I just wanted to share some of the learnings that maybe can help the discussion. Some of them have been touched on already. What we found is, or what we're trying not to do, is to replicate existing structures, because we do realize that there are already a lot of organizations and networks working on this topic. What we rather want to do is tap into these networks and see how we could connect with them and support their network or support them. We find that complementary partnerships, even though it maybe sounds obvious, I think it's very important to involve in an equal level different types of organizations. We find that also bringing on researchers helps a lot. They can also then benefit by advancing data collections, making data collections more nuanced and inclusive, but also policymakers and NGOs and entrepreneurship hubs benefit from this. We also would, I think, have benefited from having researchers and generally organizations from different backgrounds and disciplines, not only focusing on entrepreneurship. We've also had collaborations or members in the alliance that focus more on participation or democracy or gender equality, and then you kind of link their expertise to the topic of inclusive entrepreneurship. Collaborating with local and public authorities, that's especially important, I think, at the local level, for those kind of initiatives that are meant to be more embedded regionally or locally. And that leads me to the last point, which would have lead to a constant engagement with local communities. So no matter how far developed the network becomes, and I think this also would probably apply to what you're planning with the network and the hubs, is to have that constant engagement and connection to local communities. And there, I think civil society organizations can help a lot. Not all of them have this focus of entrepreneurship, but we do find that it can sometimes be, even for them, an additional step. So for example, we also do joint funding calls, and we had one call this year for the AMIF proposal of the European Commission. And there were some organizations that joined our call that didn't actually have a focus on entrepreneurship before. They did, for example, training with migrant women on their legal rights, but they realized that a complementary program could be entrepreneurial training. So this is how we also connect and support other organizations. So if you would like to get in touch, you have my contact details. You have the website of the Alliance, and you also have a QR code if you want to connect on LinkedIn, but you can also find me quite easily. It's just, I thought, might make it easier. And thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me. And it was already very interesting and very impressive to hear all of the work that has been done.
Super. Thank you so much, Vanessa. And in the background, we've been back and forthing with Fanny and decided to carry on with some of these thoughts and ideas and allow some more time for questions now to either Vanessa or Ines. Please, everyone, anything that struck you as interesting or a good opportunity, anything that you'd like to know more about, question time. And you don't have to put your hands up because I can't see everyone at the same time on the screen, so I might miss your hand up. Just jump in and start your question, please. Unmute yourself and ask. Okay, while everyone's thinking, I'm going to throw a question at both of you, if you don't mind, which is, if I'm not mistaken, both of your networks are driven by an organization or a team. How necessary is that, and how do you overcome that as a startup network when, like in this transnational TASK4ISI network, there's like equal partners, there's no one who is the boss and says, I'm going to start this now. What would be some tips or advice that you could give there?
Shall I quickly go first, or would you like to? Yeah. I think a driver is important, especially at the beginning. As long as there is a transparent and kind of participatory way that all the members can be involved to the extent that they want to be involved. So I mean, this is the perspective from an alliance that is maybe not yet a fully fledged organization. I think there's a risk, of course, if there's only one driver, then it can become quite focused on there's someone that is setting the agendas, someone is deciding what type of activities are planned, which calls we go for. So one suggestion can also be to have a kind of steering board or steering committee that has some say. So you have a couple of maybe experts from the different organizations involved that will be behind it. And that could work also for an organization or alliance of hubs just starting. But I do think it could be, it's useful to have one secretariat or one team. But I think the idea of having it on a rotating principle, at least for some activities, could be very interesting. We haven't tried that yet. That's the risk, of course, if there's organizations that don't have the capacity. But yeah, my thought would be an advisory steering group, whatever you would like to call it, could be a good idea.
For us, the way we do it as an organization is by, we have this goal for Euclid to be a member-led organization. So we have a board that is made out of our members. And this is also a rotative board. So Ava, as she mentioned, she was part of the board for a really long time. Now she's an honorary board member because there was a time limit. Then we had to get some new people in. And this is the way that the feeling of participating, and this is a member-led project, and makes our members also hopefully feel more invested in our organization and indeed have a voice in what we do as with the board.
Great, thank you very much. Questions from the audience?
I have one question. Yeah, I have one question.
Yeah, great.
I did speak to Lara and Fanny about the project, and I'm sort of aware of what you're doing, and I find aligns a lot. My question was just regarding the target audiences. So if I understand correctly, the different hubs have different target groups that you've worked with. I found it quite interesting also to hear about the different hubs, their activities. For example, that there's in one case, say also workshops or training with neurodivergent people, that you have kind of different. So if I understand, that was my sort of question. Is that correct? And did you find that also helps kind of inform the other hubs between each other? Sort of how did you do this exchange if you have different target groups? Yeah, is that something that you could maybe explain a bit more?
Yes, thanks, Vanessa. And it is indeed how it works. So we have in each of the 5 countries different TASK4ISI leaders who could choose from the different target groups. So some of us are working with women, others who have connections with people with disabilities. They are working with them, some with migrants, as you are as well. So it was completely decided up to what is the organization most experienced at, or what they would like to explore as a pilot. And right now we are at the stage where some of the partners already did or started their pilot trainings. Some not yet, but are in the phase of almost starting it. And this first phase is basically about also for us to share experiences. So that's what we do at each of these transnational TASK4ISI meetings, that as we did in the first part, each TASK4ISI leaders tells what is the progress at their organization. Of course, it's always slightly different because different organizations operate differently, and sometimes the topics can differ, but we try to have an update from each and every of the TASK4ISI. And the sustainability part of the project would be to basically keep this kind of connection, either with the existing TASK4ISI to continue, or this transnational level to make it a little bit more wide or broad. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any questions from the audience? How do you guys see yourself either launching, relaunching, or continuing your current network? Or do you think you might become a part of or a member of, let's say, any of these 2 networks, or reach out to them to become somehow connected, integrated, associated with them? Any sort of thinking on along these lines?
Okay, just to encourage others to speak out as well, I will say something. So I was thinking to ask both Vanessa and Ines about how do you feel about our TASK4ISI hubs joining your organizations? Would our TASK4ISI hub benefit from joining the organizations? And if yes, in what way?
If you like, Vanessa, I'll go first. Good. I think this would be a case-by-case base. We always have a consultation with everyone that wants to become a member first, to understand what are they looking for with this membership, because we also understand that it's a sector with limited resources, and if there's not a compatibility with membership, we want to better support you by not wasting your money joining our network. But if your goal is to, for example, learn from similar organizations, to have a more European understanding of the social enterprise ecosystem, if you want to have easier tools to access funding, trainings, and to have a voice in Brussels, for example, I would say probably you would benefit from our membership.
From my side, I think when I first heard about the project, I found it very complementary to what we're doing with the Alliance. Our approach is more from a European level because we started as an EU level campaign, and our plans were to kind of work, of course, with the local community and local hubs, and also establish more local level, regional level collaborations, because that's what we found actually promotes sustainability of a project. We had like a previous project, not related to this topic, but we had set up kind of like hubs, I guess, within the project. And they consisted of a university, a civil society organization, and a municipality. So different types of organizations. And in some cases, after the funding ended and the EU program ended, at some cases in the national level, they continued working together, because I think the collaboration is often easier at a regional or local level. But we're very happy to welcome you and also the hubs, or think about how we could continue the work next year together, because we also face some of the same challenges, right? Funding, priorities, what is relevant, what will be relevant in the next 5 years, or how can we? So we have similar questions, but we have different networks. So I think it's very complementary, and I think for us, but also for you, it could be very beneficial to connect. And it's, yeah, we're different types of organizations, not like Euclid, for example, but for now it's a free and, let's say, loose enough network that you can see what you can shape it as well. That can be quite interesting.
Super, thank you very much. Great. Again, ideas and perspectives there from two very different types of networks, but both very beneficial. I think for their respective membership. Now, hopefully, the next and last sort of section of this workshop will be giving you some space in smaller groups to continue thinking about some of these questions. We're going to breakout sessions now for about 25 minutes, maybe a bit less, given we need to come together for a little bit of a wrap-up discussion at the end as well. And we are going to, I don't know if Laura could show maybe the slides that has the questions. We would like every small group to discuss the same questions that all relate to what we've been talking about so far, but just wanted to give you some guidance here. Thinking about the commitment, everybody seems to be, in theory, very interested in continuing working together, very committed. What would be necessary in more specifically, I think, is one question. And what do you think about the role and existence and sustainability of the local networks, the local TASK4ISI? Should they remain, and what can you do about that? What would be a coordination structure that you could imagine feasible for this network to go on? And how would you secure collaboration and inclusive collaboration? Inclusive meaning all kinds of stakeholders, and sort of remaining in the spirit of inclusive entrepreneurship, the target audiences as well. And we are hoping that some of these thoughts and ideas will come together in our final memorandum of understanding to make sure that we have a guiding light, a lighthouse with a guiding light to what we're setting up. So we're going to be going into the breakout groups now, and we would love each group to have someone who takes notes, so that when we come back for sharing in about, what's the time now? 25 past. So let's say in 20 minutes max, we will be able to have some concrete things on the screen that we can share. And if I'm not mistaken, Laura is going to put you guys into these breakout groups. So you should see something on your screen prompting you to join one of them. Please go ahead and do so. I see most people are reacting, so I will wait until I see mostly everyone allocated to their breakout groups.
I didn't get a pop-up to allocate me. Can you reallocate me?
Laura, please. Thank you.
maybe.
Is it there now, Michael? Michael, sorry, I don't know. Yeah. So we've only got 2 people now and myself. Or is Belle going to a group? Super. So Laura,
Téged is
back here.
beraktalak a
Yes, I can
4-esbe.
see.
Okay.
Megyek majd oda, csak azért maradtam, hogy mindenki akkor menjen. Hogy
Okay.
lássuk, hogy
I'll put, mármint, hogy mindenkit betettem, csak nem, valószínűleg nincsenek a gépnél. Aha.
Jó, akkor 45-kor visszahozol minket.
Hát 20
Lekés.
percre állítottam, és akkor automatikusan bezárnak a breakout roomok.
Szuper, szuper. Köszi.
Oké. Lehet, hogy itt kéne maradjak, hogy be tudjam tenni az embereket.
Okay, so it seems like we're all thrown back into the plenary room against, or perhaps not against, our wills. And we've got about 5 minutes maybe to hear from the small breakout sessions that have something to share. We had 5 breakout rooms. So I'm not going to call up on anyone because I don't know who's been taking notes or who volunteered to be reporting back, but just jump in and start sharing, please.
We will group 1, and I volunteered to take notes. So
super, go ahead.
I'll just quickly share the key points. One was that in terms of level of commitment, to understand which organization can provide what, that there might be also some that are more coordinators, some that are more administrators, also bringing in the sort of the more local level and activist side, so that there might also be different roles that can be foreseen depending on expertise. Also that there's an international, let's say, commitment, that there are organizations that could provide either exchange or international learning. That would be very important. So the exchange visits were highlighted also, that they were very beneficial, and also helped to bring the expertise sometimes needed into the local level. Money in terms of level of commitment would help, of course, and attracting, also knowing how to attract private finance, and also a close collaboration between public and private sector. That was then more on the point of structure, but I think it also ties in level of commitment. Having also the sort of not lead necessarily, but involvement of organizations that are well connected on the ground with the beneficiaries or potential future beneficiaries, that can attract, for example, employment offices. And then we also discussed the importance of having local governments on board, providing the spaces, providing the networks, such as municipalities, but also having universities involved. And I think the last point was sort of about the values, right? So I think collaboration came up a lot, but also communication, so that there needs to be good communication and exchange. So it's kind of a transparent, clear communication. If I missed anything, feel free to add from the group.
Thank you for that summary, Vanessa. Any other group that would like to jump in and share?
We were group 2, and just to tell you a little bit about the group, if you were missing Croatian partners in any of the groups, that's because we had all of them, almost, which was really amazing because we could tailor-made it a little bit and go into the Croatian case. So basically, we were discussing that Croatia has a very strong interest and very strong commitment to continue the local TASK4ISI. They are not exactly sure which form, or whether it should be a new legal form or connected to an agency, but definitely to be connected to most stakeholders they can in the region. And about the transnational TASK4ISI circle, they are also connected to be on board for the long term. And we were discussing about the coordination structure, where they would prefer the centralized method, so that one partner is maybe financed with some European funds to continue the network, and that's how they see it feasible to continue. And about the principles we were talking about, with the help of Ines, with the mutual collaboration that would be important, the knowledge sharing. And she was also sharing with us how they operate in terms of social media, because we, as network, already discussed that we would have a LinkedIn group. They, on the other hand, have also an Instagram and a Facebook, and they also have a knowledge center, which is a website, which could be considered. And there was one very good practice also highlighted, that is initiated by the German partners, which is the study visit that many of the partners will go to after the Erfurt meeting. So that was mainly our discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fanny. And you're showing in a glorious light in the meantime. It sounded like some sort of angel. Any other group? Either reflecting on some of these or repeating or bringing new points, sharing what you guys discussed?
Sorry, just something I forgot to mention before. There was, I really like the idea of the book club that was mentioned before as one of the activities. It's a very nice idea to continue these activities and also get input on a regular basis. I felt very inspired by that idea. That could also be done online.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Yeah, well, I don't know if the group where I sat in, they're just shy and not want to say something. There was
No,
there.
I'm here. I'm here. Yes. So I can share. Although looking at the other in the presentation, the other comments probably is not that many. But we were assured about keeping working as a hub in the future after the project and to be engaged in the network. And we also had an opportunity to meet one of the stakeholders from Croatia. And he said that the interest from the stakeholders are there. And I would suggest to involve the stakeholders with specific roles within the TASK4ISI and then being part of the transnational collaboration. And also it was mentioned, I think by Julie, that one organization, per her statement, is that one organization probably is needed for the coordination. And that, well, in my mind, it raises also the financial resources or how it can be done. But pretty sure that if there's a coordinator, then it might be more active, although we were thinking of rotating the coordination within the group, and then the involvement increases. When there's only one coordinator, then the activity and the vibrant community efforts are lower. So the rotation, I would definitely keep it, but it's also important to be in the network and to share the local activity, but creating a set of values, why to join. And I would very much say, yes, the intro of all partners, including others, and creating a platform for sharing the events, the tools, the news, the outcomes. So I think these are the points that I can recall, but I'm happy to have others to conclude or say other.
Super. Thank you very much, Bella. And the remaining two groups, is there anything you guys would like to say? It's okay if you don't want to say anything at all, but this is your opportunity to add your bits.
Okay, then our group was number 3, and I was the note taker, and it's a very messy page. Nevertheless, we were talking about that as for the commitment side. Andreas offered a platform, a training platform, which we would be able to utilize if it's needed for the future use. Also, as a network, if we think of keeping ourselves up and running, we need financial resources, and one idea was to kind of having a contribution, maybe a fee or something, which each partner would be able to provide. That's an idea. Study visits were also mentioned here. And then when it comes to the coordination structure, definitely maybe
all the organization would be part of a coordination board, and one partner could be appointed to follow up. So that's the idea. Yeah, gosh, many thoughts. Basically, there were some of the highlights I wanted to mention here. Because of the time being, we were still in a discussion.
Thank you, Evie. I think these are really good points, and I'm glad to hear. It's always helpful now to move on to specifics. I can contribute a platform. I can contribute a training toolkit. I can contribute a person. I can contribute some money, etc. I think eventually it'll come down to that as well. And the last group that hasn't spoken, this is your last chance to say yes, you want to say something or not.
I can quickly say what you can see on the slide as well. So we were talking about what's a good regularity for meeting, because keeping up a meeting just like we do currently sounds a good idea, and the currency, the regularity as well. So meeting online for cost saving every 3 months could be ideal with rotating roles. Because that's enough time to step forward, to have developments and things to share with each other, and optionally bigger events and bigger meetings every year or every second year. We also talked about having bilateral exchanges organized within the network can be more relevant for certain members. As to coordination structure, central coordination is needed, but a stable agenda, it's always useful to have one contact person so that everyone knows who to turn to, and not having a lot of spam emails and emailing within the network. And then, of course, moderating these events and meetings can be rotating as well. And we also talked a bit about how we need to keep that in mind to have to give value to the members and stay relevant in how the members can be supported to reach their own goals. So knowledge sharing should be organized along that. Please feel free to add anyone if I missed something.
Thank you very much, Laura. I hear some repeating points, which obviously are important to people here, sharing values, benefit to the members, bringing in different resources, whatever people have, rotation. So I think these will be very good points to collect when you want to create what feeds into the memorandum of understanding. Now, money and resources, that comes up again and again, and I think that's a hard nut to crack, but perhaps that is something that we could devote more time to in Erfurt, just specifically discuss the financing side of things. And maybe one piece of input to that could be something that we came across, and there's a slide that we can share perhaps about some of you might know a European scheme that's called cost actions that are that you can look up, and I think specifically could be maybe investigated if this is relevant as well. They are specifically to enhance collaboration and networking between various types of stakeholders, mostly academia, but also practitioners around certain topics. And so these actions really are involving a large group of stakeholders usually, and the main thing is to help them network. Nothing else, like you don't have other project deliverables. Now, bear with me or with us for 3 more minutes if you can, because I'm going to pass the floor on to Eva Vörös to conclude this meeting. But before that, I want to thank you all for putting in the time and your thoughts again. I know it's a bit challenging always when you have to do this online, but I think it's been a really rich session with lots of sharing, lots of good updates, and some interaction as well, leading on to our next in-person meeting. Evie.
Yes, thank you so much. That's my first official kind of activity when it comes to the program, and that TNISIHUB meetings. The key takeaways, we have jotted down many ideas and thoughts. Thank you for being so active and sharing your thoughts, suggestions. We are going to work on the memorandum of understanding, as you are aware of that. And at the Erfurt meeting, we will have the draft, which will be finalized and signed by hopefully all of the members, sometimes during next year. And it's a great news that, of course, we are going to meet in person in Erfurt the beginning of December. We will send out the details of the events in the upcoming weeks, so bear with us. And finally, the Google form, which is already here in the presentation, already Fanny shared it in the chat. So please fill it up. This is very important for us to understand your feedback and build on it and continue with this effort. So hope to see most of you or all of you in Erfurt in early December. Thank you. Thank you for your active participation.
Thank you very much. Bye now.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Dobra, wielkie dzięki, Jacku.
Bye. Hello, Fanny.
Thank you. Bye. And see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.